Hello everyone, my name is Andy, and welcome to episode 16 of Hardcore Minecraft. And let's go check our villager, see if we can actually finally trade with them yet. And no, I can't. Okay. Getting a bit worried on why they're not restocking. I just hope that they'll restock soon. But yeah. Got that going for us. Just gonna continue working on the area. Which I'm not too sure how I'm gonna deal with this area because it goes upward. We'll have to figure that out though, as well, when we continue chopping down trees and expanding. Because I mean, empires are big. We want this to be big, a big area, a big space. And in order to do so, we need to, of course, clear out a whole bunch of space. And of course, we also need to start clearing out that area as well. I don't know what I want that area to be yet. We'll have to figure that area out. I mean, since there are bigger trees, well, I mean, there's also big trees over here. But what I was thinking, I mean, of course, I'll have to get rid of the trees and then regrow them or make my own trees, big trees. Is that maybe we can have that area be more, I guess, like a common area, common district, not the rich and wealthy. I don't know, we'll have to see. Because I do think it would be cool if we had some, like, tree houses, you know, people in the trees. Instead of just having, you know, just tall trees just here and there. Like, actually, you know, have, like, a use for them. Or, like, use them in a way. We won't have too many uh tall tree houses. Well, not tall because tree houses are up in the air anyway. We'll not have a whole bunch of like tree houses. So maybe it won't be a commoner area. I like to think that the only difference between, well, for this world, but between the rich and the poor is depending on your job and your rank. Like, it doesn't actually matter how wealthy you are. Or, like, if you're, well, obviously, if you're royal blood, you're going to be living in the palace, which makes sense. But, like, if you are a noble or something like that, it's not like, oh, you're like, I guess the stingy rich people that think everyone else is beneath you. Like, that's not how I think it would work. At least for this world. Because, I mean, that would probably cause a whole bunch of wars and, like, riots and everything. I mean, not that I'm trying to say there's just entirely peace for the lore. I'm just thinking, the rulers of the empires are trying to make everyone equal, you know? They're trying to make sure everyone actually can live, and survive. Unless you're an outsider, then it might be more difficult for you. Like if, since, even though we're not using mods, we're gonna pretend that well, for lore, we're gonna pretend that there's like all these, not actual in-game creatures and whatnot. So like the Origins mod, there's gonna be, you know, different humanoids and whatnot. So like, trying to think of a good example. Let's see. I guess imagine if it's like in the Desert Empire. Let's use the Desert Empire as an example. And you are from the Snow Empire. So like obviously the temperature change is going to be very different. And depending on what your origin is, it may be more difficult. You may, I don't know, like not be that resistant with the heat. You like have a higher chance of getting a heat stroke or something. Sort of like that. So like if you try and live in, let's say, the Desert Empire and you're from the Snow Empire, it will be a lot more difficult to live there compared to the actual people of the Desert Empire. Because they will have adapted. I mean, that doesn't mean you can't adapt, but it would just be a lot more harder. But that's sort of like an example. So, like, the empires look out for their own people. I mean, that doesn't mean they are hostile against outsiders, but that does mean that, well, what it does mean is that they actually care about their people, you know? It's like the wealthy doesn't have to pay, but in this world, or at least the lore, the wealthy does indeed have to pay taxes, you know? They don't just get a free pass just because they're wealthy or rich or famous or whatever the case is. But yeah. So I'm gonna have to think more about what to do on that side. But I do think maybe that side will be more, not commoner, but trying to think. Hmm. Because, I mean, we're gonna have different districts of the empire. Like, there's gonna be one where it's mainly just shops and stores. Maybe like one that's along the water, that's like a little market area. And then we'll have like an area for like a school, um, or I guess academy in this case. Uh, like a church, that sort of thing. So we'll have to figure out what to do for that area. I think maybe, hmm, I don't know. I'm trying to think of like the possibilities. Because this is going to be like the central of the empire. Well, not the exact central part, but it's going to be where majority of the empire is. And so that side is also part of the empire, obviously, but it's going to be a bit smaller. It's going to be just as important, but, not as big. It's kind of like how in kingdoms you have like the stalls, houses, and everything inside of the kingdom, but then you have the farmland on outside. It's kind of like that case. You have the farmland on the outskirts of the kingdom, but in this case, that area is still a part of the empire. It's still within the empire as well. I mean, maybe we could do it for like an area for like guests. I was gonna say for like visitors, guests. Not too sure though. Maybe those who are like staying for them in the empire for like a certain amount of time. I'm not entirely sure. I have to think about that a bit more. But I mean, we could make that area where like, those who are staying in the empire for a little while can reside in that area. Or something like that. I don't know. We'll have to think about that as we like continue, actually start working on that area. We'll have to figure out exactly what we want to do there. I mean, I do want to have houses, like tree houses up there in that area. But I'm not sure what else, though. We'll just have to think about that, though. But the reason why we're not gonna do like a whole lot of tree houses is because of the jungle empire. I mean, we can have as many as we want, but I feel like with how I want to do things for each empire, I feel like the jungle empire is the one that's mainly gonna have, being up in the air and everything. So I feel like um having like this empire not have a whole lot of houses. Not because it's a restriction, but because um generally for this empire they yes have long tall trees because of the biome, but also um I completely lost my train of thought. I hate when that happens. Um hmm. Anyway, they just I guess the empire is would rather be more on the land, on the ground, than up in the trees. Maybe like it could be like the lore of when the kingdom was or empire was first founded was that they originally were in the trees, you know. But as time progressed, they slowly like became more adapted on being on land. Except that doesn't really make sense because we don't have any mobs in the spruce biome that would really work with that lore. I mean, maybe we could think that they would hide in trees. So they would have, like, I guess back then, back in the old days of the empires, was that they would hide in the trees. Like maybe during the war period, you know? But as time progressed, with, like, peace being made, since I imagine, being in the trees is probably not entirely the best. I mean, yeah, for ambushes and also for extra safety for people. But I imagine at some points they just couldn't live in the trees anymore. Like they just did not want to continue hiding out in the trees. And so they finally decided to, make the ground more safer, especially as the empire progressed. So now there's not so many uh, big trees that they live in. We could think of it as like a survival situation, I guess. Like they had no other choice but to hide in the trees when there was war. Like that was like their only option of surviving. To think of it as that. Which is why there's, still tall trees that, you can still live in a tall tree. It's just not necessarily necessary anymore. I think we'll go with that. I'll probably change it later on, but we'll go with that. That it was a survival. It was part of their survival back in the foundings of the empires and the wars and everything, or like the beginnings of this world, something like that. Because I mean, the only native mob for this biome is the fox. And it's raining. Great. I mean, unless you're playing mods and everything. And we can also imagine, since we do want to incorporate, at least for lore, that there are different species of not only mobs, but also humanoid mobs. Or humanoids species. But like in regular vanilla, the only mob is the fox. Besides the dog. The Minecraft dog. The newer one. Well, and also the old one. Except I think the old one is... I don't remember if there's a new one for the spruce biome. Since I only found the regular dogs. So I don't actually have any idea. But it's basically the dogs, which dogs spawned anywhere regardless. So I don't know if that one really counts that much. But the only native one is the fox. Just like in the snow biome, it's the Arctic fox. As well as the polar bears. Except I think those are more in the ice spikes now, more than ever. And I guess also now the different types of passive mobs, so the cows, chickens, pigs as well. But those, they spawn naturally. It's not like designated animal like the fox. Which is kind of sad. Now that I think about it, I mean, we don't have a whole bunch of animals, to be fair, for like each and every single biome. Like native designated animals that only spawn in those biomes. Which I think is a bit sad. Because, I mean, we have the mushroom, for the mushroom biome, our islands biome. And then we have the fox for the spruce, the polar bear for the ice spikes and snow, as well as the Arctic fox for the snow one. There's also the bunnies, or rabbits. There's the snow one, and then there's the desert one, and then there's the regular one. But the regular one can spawn anywhere. I mean, we have a whole bunch of different mobs in the game, but it's just we don't have a whole lot of designated mobs, I don't think. At least for the overworld. Obviously, for the end and another, uh, there are designated mobs, but for the mobs in the overworld, we don't have that many. Well, except for the ocean ones, but that's pretty obvious. Because they're ocean mobs. But, yeah. The andesite would be good, but I'm just not gonna deal with that. I'm not gonna try mining it or anything. But, yeah. Oh, there's also the jungle ones I forgot as well. The ocelot, panda, our only bear, Bob. Which, honestly, I don't know why they haven't done like a bear. I mean, well, no, because there's also polar bear, my bad. We only have 2 bears. Well, one of them being the panda. Honestly, I don't know why they haven't made like a bear. I mean, we already have a polar bear and a panda. Why not have like a brown bear, grizzly bear for the spruce? Or black bear? I'm not too familiar with the whole bears, like where they live and everything, but I'm aware there's quite a few different types of bears. Anyway, let's see if the villager has refreshed their trade. Okay, you're outside. Please. I swear to God. What? Villager restock two times per day. Well, this villager has not restocked at all. You know? Not once have you restocked. My goodness. I'm gonna not murder the villager. I'm gonna stop myself from saying that straight up. I'm not gonna murder the villager. Just gonna walk away. I'm not gonna be like that. I'm just gonna walk away. Even though the temptation is there, I'm not gonna do it. I have a broken villager, and I'm just not gonna do it. I'm gonna be a good player and not murder a villager. But no, the temptation is very much there because, like, yeah. I feel like that villager is just permanently stuck to not being able to restock. Unless there's somehow, which I really doubt it because I thought I thoroughly checked, and now it's making me doubt myself. But there should not be another composter in the village. I took all of them. I'm 100% certain I took all of them. Even though now I'm beginning to doubt myself. Making me second guess myself and everything. I still hate how it shows like the oak stuff. Even though I don't have anything in my inventory that's oak. Because these two, they just show spruce. But like all this other stuff shows like oak. I don't have a single oak anything in my inventory. And it's confusing. I'm also just going to put this barrier here. Since I'm starting to slowly, expand. Just a bit more. Not a whole lot. Even though the quarry is in the way. Which, I guess getting this dirt is good because I can just fill it back up. But I think I'm going to wait until I get more tools, like better tools. I don't know why I'm getting dirt. I don't actually need dirt. I need, where is it? More spruce. That's what I actually need. But yeah, despite the lengthy time of getting the or digging out the quarry, I'm gonna need to fill it up and make a new one. Unfortunately, because not a good spot for it to be. Which I should have known, but I just wanted to get deep slate at the time. Wasn't the wisest decision, I will 100% say. Definitely was not. the most wisest decision. Probably gonna have to. You know what? Actually, let's just start bringing the other villagers. I'll get another farmer. But I'll start getting other villagers though. Fletcher. That's don't need that one. Can we fight? Let's make one of those, I guess. There we go. So I'll also just get a bit of cobblestone. Let me sleep. Thank you. Yeah, because I don't know what's up with the villager at all. Just straight up have no idea why. They are not refreshing their trade. I got rid of the composter. I replaced the composter. I got rid of all the composters. Got rid of one over there, and then I placed it after I placed this one. And still not. Yeah. And they have slept in the bed. We've seen them sleep in the bed, and they're just. I don't know. I don't know, but I have a broken villager. And there's literally, I don't know what to do. Which sucks, because literally the first villagers that are going to live in the Empire, and one of them's broken. I mean, I know I could just unalive them, but I'm not like that. I mean, I know it's not a big deal to kill a villager if the villager is just broken. I mean, I could do an accidental death, but I'm not like that. I'm gonna admit I'm not like that. I can talk about unliving the villager, but I will not actually do it. Which is quite ironic. Saying it out loud. Wow, you can only hold one thing. Wow. Can hold a mixed stack. Yet you can't even hold. Okay, whatever. I don't like this is why I don't like the sack the bundles. Anyway. I realized there's like barely any beds in this house in here anyway, I realized. Like there's just this whole village. Like what, there's like what, 3, 4, 6 villagers that live in this village? And only 4 beds? I mean, I probably actually took one. But, like, still, like, what? Come on, you're free. Still, get in. Thank you. I promise you're going to somewhere where you can actually move around and not get trapped. Well, hopefully not get trapped. Oh, I don't have any dirt on me to build a little barriers to be able to get you inside. I'll quickly go get some dirt to do that. The wheat is almost done being all fully grown. I got a few bits here and there. I hope they're not like connected to my bed. Watch that be the reason why. I'm gonna be so mad. I'm just gonna be so very mad if that's the actual reason. Watch it be the reason. Just 100% watch it be the reason. Okay, do that. And let's get you inside. Come on, buddy. Get inside. Come on, you don't want to be in the rain. Come on, buddy. There you go. See? Let's get you a job. Oh my god, it was the bed. I'm gonna murder you. Not actually, but you made it a very high possibility to murder you. I don't have any wool. I may have made. Oh wait, if I have shears, can I not have you do brown wool? Just no reason. I'd just rather it be white wool or something else. Because we're gonna have to dye sheep unless we can get lucky. No, fine. You want to do brown wool? You can do brown wool. You know what? It's your choice. I unfortunately don't have any emeralds, so I need to go get emeralds. But thank God we found the reason why. Of course, it ended up being the bed. I completely forgot that they can do the beds. Like, I don't know why. I, like, completely missed the fact or forgotten that the beds, that they, if they can't reach the bed, then they won't trade. Which I find a bit stupid. Mainly because it's like, well, I kind of get it, but also it's like really annoying because you think the closest bed to them. Hold on. Alrighty, I'm back. And I forgot that it's raining. Let's go trade with the trader. Or farmer, I should say. Also need to get the other villagers in here too. Why are you guys out in the rain? You guys shouldn't be out in the rain. Trying to get yourself sick? By shears. Oh no, so let me place a bed. Right here for right now, even though we'll eventually have to decorate this and everything else. Actually, I need to be able to get some more beds since there's 3 more villagers I have to go and get. So I'm gonna see if I can level up the villager, the shepherd, before I go get the other villagers. Even though that means I'm gonna have a few shears on me, or available, not on me, because I'll put them in the chest. I guess in this chest, to be exact. So, free villagers. So, food, armor, weapon, and butcher. Well, stick trader. Just going by like what they have. So sticks. Well, I guess also the bows and arrows. Huh. I think I'll wait to do the Fletcher, and then we'll just do these three. Even though that does give us access to be able to get more emeralds, so we can continue and trade. But I think for right now, we'll get a butcher later on, or Fletcher. Wait, no. Yeah, Fletcher, not butcher. Later on. You know, it'll be a bit cramped in here. Did I? Oh, now I see. Okay, I was like, did I do this wrong? Nah, it's just the way I placed them. That's all. Confused me a bit. I will admit. Can you guys move out of the way? Thank you. So close. Okay. Oh, there's a dead fish, a dead salmon. Wonder how that happened. Usually it's the squid, not the fish, or I guess in this case salmon. Weird. I also didn't see any cats at the village as well. I mean, maybe in the earlier episodes, but there definitely weren't any villages, or not villagers, uh, cats anywhere. Nor was there an iron golem either. Let's harvest this. I know they're not all ready, but just gonna harvest. Early harvest. That's what it is. Unfortunately, we get more seeds than wheat, even if they're all fully grown. But oh well. I mean, hey, at least we can, put the seeds in the compost, get more bone meal. And there we go. Put all those in there. Grab this. And now we've unlocked melons, and we can now buy cookies. Let's trade a few. One more. There we go. Now we can buy purple wool and green wool. I'll make a purple bed. We do need 2 more beds, though. Wait. Yeah, 2 more. I think maybe I should do a stick trader instead. or a Fletcher instead of the smoker. Even though, or the butcher, I think that's what they're actually called. Um, mm, yeah, I'll switch. Because trying to, get enough emeralds just from each harvest of wheat. I mean, unless we haven't had an actual giant field of wheat, but we don't. One of this is a bit big, but don't have an actual big giant field of wheat though. And I forgot to place the bed. Okay, let's go back and place the bed. Since that actually was what I was gonna do, as well as, switch the Fletcher with the or switch the butcher with the Fletcher. Just have the beds like right there. And then we'll get the other villagers in the next episode. And we'll sleep and we'll end this one. Actually, let me go harvest sugarcane. We haven't done that in quite a while. Should also just make a little patch of little pumpkin patch just for right now. So we can also have something else to trade with the farmer. Well, if I remember, we'll do that in the next episode. But that will be it for episode 16 of Hardcore Minecraft. So I hope you guys have a good day or night, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!